there. Temperatures will be in the 40s on Friday with a
अस्सलाम वालेकुम वालिदैन यानी पेरेंट्स जो भी गार्जियन है सब अपने छोटों से जो रोजमर्रा बातें करते हैं
just into the red. That's into frame.
Very warm welcome to Ami Shakil 5858. I am Ahmed Shackle. Following are the latest news headlines which have been reported by American, European, Canadian, Asian, African and Australian news channels and all other news agencies. So please, let's go to the news.
Several breaking stories as we come on tonight. Tornado warnings and watches across multiple states. The brazen jailbreak, nearly a dozen inmates escaping. Authorities asking, was this an inside job? And the disrupt transit strike impacting hundreds of thousands in the Northeast. First, the dangerous weather threat right now. 90 million on alert. Nearly a dozen reported tornadoes in the last 24 hours. Homes destroyed, roofs ripped away. Severe weather forcing fans to evacuate before the start of the Beyonce concert in Chicago. The system now taking aim at the Northeast this weekend. Lee Goldberg timing it out. Also tonight, the alarming jailbreak and the massive manhunt. 10 inmates considered armed and dangerous escaping from behind, including 4 charged with images. Her message major his own and actor Fox what now? Why I was here fix my minus front control room, but saying Joe Biden is okay in private, look really, really bad. We also in public. But it sounds like a possible
But the future of the goals on with Canadian Tire. As all of this unfolded, and joins us now to walk through what happened and where the case goes from here.
Carolyn, this is the second time Judge Maria Garcia dismissed a jury in the Hockey Canada Junior trial. She spent the first dismissal 3 days after proceedings began. Now the change to Judge Friday week.
Later, news showing running across the capturing in a harsh quarter. And being rescued. Oh, twist that they were turning another. And prisoners in a jail near these French division.
Good evening, John Dickerson. It no longer has a stellar AAA credit rating. It became of the 3 credit rating, it downgraded the U.S. on AA1.
Administration have failed to trend large deficits and growing interest costs.
In Congress today, all of House constituents blocked the president's package of tax breaks and spending cuts. They want deeper cuts to Medicaid.
That program provides health insurance low incomes about a Republican out of it $1 million per next month to celebrate the Army's 250th birthday on the president's 7th.
The president cuts spending in his branch of government impact.
Good evening, I'm Amna Navaz.
And I'm Jeff Bennett. On the News Hour tonight, highly anticipated peace talks between Russia and Ukraine fall flat less than 2 anticipated peace talks between Russia and Ukraine fall flat less than 2 hours in, with few signs of progress and both countries' presidents notably absent.
As President Trump returns from a foreign trip marked by lavish display-making, a look at how the Trump family could be profiting off the presidency.
It's sort of impossible for us to know if it's influencing U.S. foreign policy, and that's pretty troubling and pretty unusual in American history.
And a medical breakthrough. A baby born with a rare deadly disorder becomes the first to receive personalized gene editing treatment.
DemocracyNow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Israel's carried out its deadliest day of strikes across the Gaza Strip since it shattered a ceasefire in mid-March. Israeli attacks killed at least 143 people since dawn Thursday, according to health officials, bringing the documented death toll in Gaza to over 53,000, though thousands more are missing under the rubble and presumed dead. 1 in 5 Palestinians, some 500,000 people are facing starvation, according to the United Nations, with Israel's total blockade of food, water, and medicine now in its 74th day. In Khan Yunis, 30-year-old Palestinian Reem Al-Zanati narrowly survived an Israeli strike that collapsed her family's home. After her father pulled her from the rubble, she learned that many of her relatives were dead. The entire family of my uncle has been martyred. May they rest in peace. How would one feel to see all their loved ones come out as remains from under the rubble? My cousin's name is Mena. She's 1 year younger than me. She was just with me yesterday night. I swear, she bid farewell to me and told me goodbye, as if she felt it. The head of the UN Children's Fund, Catherine Russell, condemned Israel's attacks, writing, quote, "It's unconscionable that over 45 children have reportedly been killed in airstrikes in Gaza in 2 days. This should shock the world, but is largely met with indifference. Nowhere is... Liberté, égalité, actualité."
Hello and welcome back. You're watching Daybreak here on France 24. Our headlines this Saturday. The Israeli military says that it's in the initial stages of a new military offensive in Gaza. It comes after 2 days of intense airstrikes that have killed more than 200 Palestinians, already starving under a months-long blockade. Russia and Ukraine agreed to a prisoner swap in their first direct peace talks since the start of Moscow's invasion. They remain at odds on key conditions for peace, though, with Ukraine pushing for an initial ceasefire and direct talks with Vladimir Putin. And a dramatic overnight jailbreak in New Orleans. 10 men escaped through a hole behind a toilet while their lone guard was away getting food. 8 remain on the run, including suspects charged with murder.
Hi, good morning. It's 7 o'clock. Coming up on the show today, 3 people killed in a Bicester warehouse fire unnamed. And England's Matt Fitzpatrick moved
Within 2 shots of the lead at Golf's PGA Championship, the Masters winner Rory McIlroy only just makes the cut.
It's Saturday the 17th of May. Firefighters Martin Sadler and Jenny Logan and local business owner David Chester are named as the victims of a huge warehouse fire in Bicester. Shawshank recreated. 8 men are at large in New Orleans after a daring prison break through a toilet. Israel begins an extensive bombardment of Gaza as reports suggest US plans could permanently relocate up to 1 million Palestinians to war-torn Libya. We meet the boxing prodigy from Gloucester who switched allegiance to Bahrain in pursuit of Olympic gold.
And in the Premier League, both Chelsea and Aston Villa keep up their push for Champions League places with wins over Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur last night.
Hello, very good morning. Thanks for joining us here on The Breakfast Show. Our top story today, police have named 3 people killed in a huge fire at a former RAF base in Oxfordshire. Tributes have been paid to firefighters Jenny Logan and Martin Sadler and local business owner David Chester. Our national correspondent Tom Palmer reports. Business owner David Chester. Our national correspondent Tom Palmer reports.
However it started, it tore through this old warehouse. 10 fire engines and crews were here. As they tackled the inferno, firefighters Jenny Logan, who was 30, and Martin Sadler, aged 38, both lost their lives. Also killed was 57-year-old David Chester. He leaves a wife and 2 sons. He'd worked on the site for years and was described as a selfless pillar of the community. Another 2 firefighters were seriously injured. Their colleagues carried on tackling the fire, knowing what had happened.
I'm immensely proud. I'm immensely proud and grateful for the exemplary multi-agency response and the unwavering bravery demonstrated by all the emergency services personnel.
People living next to this former RAF base on the edge of Bicester quickly realised it was serious.
There was a big plume of smoke kind of around those trees.
This is Asia Now.
Hello, it's 2 p.m. in Singapore and Hong Kong, 11:30 in New Delhi, 1 o'clock in Jakarta, and Angela live in Thabisar. Ousted South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol officially leaves the ruling People Power Party just weeks ahead of the snap presidential election. The PPP's emergency committee had said Yoon's exit would ensure a higher chance of victory for the party.
Israel pounds Gaza with a fresh wave of airstrikes. Rescuers report at least 100 deaths in what IDF says are attacks on terror targets. Hamas demands the US push the Netanyahu government to lift an aid blockade in return for the freed American-Israeli hostage. And Russia and Ukraine agreed to exchange 1,000 prisoners each after first direct talks in more than 3 years, but no agreement on a ceasefire.
Good morning. Is Sir Keir Starmer about to U-turn on his controversial cuts to winter fuel payments?
The PM refused to rule out making more people eligible for the allowance amid a major backlash. That's despite previously defending the policy.
Mr. Speaker, the number one job of this government was to put the finances back in order after the last government lost control. They left a £22 billion black hole and we had to take tough choices. We made sure the most vulnerable pensioners do get the winter fuel payment, and we have been encouraging and driving up eligibility for pension credit.
Well, the move comes after months of Labour plummeting in the polls and experiencing a wipeout in the local elections.
Bicester fire tragedy. A man and 2 firefighters who lost their lives in the blaze are named by police.
Edinburgh is named the most expensive city break in Western Europe, beating London and Paris.
Eurovision fever sweeps the nation as contestants prepare to take the stage for the grand final this evening. That's including our entry, Remember Monday.
Just don't remember Saturday. And with Eurovision audience members spotted with Palestinian flags during Israel's performance last night at the semi-finals, we're asking whether political flags need to be banned altogether from the competition.
And this year's Cannes Film Festival is well and truly underway as stars take to the red carpet to celebrate the very best of global cinema.
And we're going to be having a wheat dram as the nation celebrates World Whisky Day.
It's FA Cup final day at Wembley, and Crystal Palace boss Oliver Glasner says winning the trophy would mean more to his side than it would for Manchester City, where all the build-up throughout the morning.
It's a little bit grey for some this morning, but I'm hopeful that cloud will burn away and most places will see blue skies by this afternoon. Will it continue into Sunday? Join me later for full forecast.
It's just gone 7 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
And I'm Sophie Reaper. This is GP News Breakfast.
Penny Wong accuses Russia of conducting a sham trial following the 13-year jail sentence of Australian citizen Oscar Jenkins. Russia and Ukraine agreed to a large prisoner swap but make little progress on a ceasefire deal.
We need this, and I hope that we will have it.
An immigration detainee who allegedly stabbed a border force worker charged after a 2-day manhunt. And former West Coast Eagles Premiership player Adam Selwood dies aged 41. Hello, welcome to ABC News. I'm Lorna Dunkley. The Australian government says it is appalled at the sham trial and 13-year sentence given to Australian Oscar Jenkins by Russia. Mr. Jenkins had been fighting alongside Ukrainian forces before being captured late last year. Europe correspondent Catherine Diss reports from London.
Well, the Russian court has previously found the 33-year-old teacher from Melbourne guilty of participating in an armed conflict as a mercenary who took part in combat operations against Russian troops between March and December last year. He was captured by Russian forces in December 2024 while serving with Ukrainian forces in the Donbass.
Lewis Park is no stranger to danger. He swam near volcanoes and among hippos and polar bears. This time he's swimming where no one else has, the island of Martha's Vineyard and deep into shark territory.
I've now been swimming for nearly 40 years in the world's oceans, and
over that period of time, I have seen them change dramatically. And I have always wanted to do a swim to talk about sharks. And the 50th anniversary of Jaws, which was filmed on this island, is the perfect opportunity to do a swim to talk about sharks.
A 1970s blockbuster Jaws, which shows sharks attacking humans, was filmed here. Park wants to change the narrative.
The swim, I think, is going to take me 12 days to do. It's a very long swim. The water is incredibly cold. And because of measures which have been taken here off the east coast of the United States of America, there are obviously great whites in the water here.
The waters around Martha's Vineyard will be just 8 degrees Celsius. The park is wearing just trunks, a cap and goggles. Around 274,000 sharks are killed globally each day, a rate of 100 million every year.
Zimbabwe has an elephant-sized problem. Home to around 100,000 of these majestic creatures, the country has become too small for the number of herds that can endanger villages and crops. To tackle the problem, 16 elephants have been fitted with GPS collars, allowing rangers to track the herds by following their leaders.
Collaring helps us to understand the movement of animals within these human wildlife areas, corridors, they say. We are going to be able to see the interactions between both wildlife and people. This then allows us to give more resources to particular areas.
Climate change has worsened competition for land, food and water, but the new tracking system allows authorities to see where the elephants are heading in real time and potentially prevent conflicts between villages and the animals.
So I'm going throughout the boundaries, checking the spores of the animals, which animals came in and which went out. So it's so interesting because what I have here in this country is in the region, the game that I work with. Whatever I see on the road, the spores, whatever I come across, as I'm not sure on the bush, I record it.
We have a big problem with elephants. But we found them here. They use the same roads, same grazing areas, and water sources. These elephants also know when our harvest is ready in the fields. Drought is getting worse, and the elephants devour the little that we harvest. The tracking program is not a perfect solution, but for now it offers an alternative to more extreme methods, such as hunting and slaughtering the elephants.
Thank you very much for giving time to Amir Shackle 5858. I am Amir Shackle. Have a good life. Bye-bye.